What's up, guys? It's Will Burroughs. I graduated from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte with my bachelor's degree in exercise science, and today we are going to be covering a lower workout. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, guys. Today we are going to cover the old adage, no pain, no gains. Is it a fact? Is it a myth? What's going on here, and what is the appropriate way to go about working out for maximizing gains? So, in order to understand what gains are, we need to understand how gains happen in the first place. And the thing that stimulates gains is mechanical tension. And mechanical tension, all it is the force experienced by the muscles when working out and moving weights, right? There's a second piece to this, and that is that you need more of your overall muscle to be participating in completing the task of moving the weights to generate a substantial amount of mechanical tension to be able to create a real stimulus for growth. And that is why it is beaten into our skulls that we need to train close to failure. Because when you train close to failure, you are getting more of your overall muscle involved. And there also is an involuntary decrease in rep speed, which increases the amount of tension your muscles experience. So you can kind of think of it like an exponential ramp up, right? It starts off with very small tension, slowly starts to increase. And then once you get to about those last 5 reps before failure, that's when there's huge jumps in how much tension your muscle is experiencing and how much growth you're going to get, right? So that is why you need to train close to failure, and that is how you create the stimulus for growth. So notice how in that entire explanation, at no point did I say there needed to be pain. Because pain is not a metric of stimulus for growth. It's a stimulus for sure, and pain is a stimulus that tells you to not do something because it will not produce an outcome that would be favorable for your body, right? That is why when you touch something hot, your initial reaction is to pull your hand away from it so you do not have a negative outcome, right? Or if you do a movement and it hurts really bad, it's your body trying to tell you to avoid doing that, or maybe you're not ready to do that movement yet. So, you do not need to feel pain. You also don't need to be sore. And soreness is unrelated to muscle growth. What happens when you become sore is you have nerves in your body, obviously, and the nerves are the pathway for signals from your brain to your body to tell your body to do shit, right? And pretty much what happens is when you do like a new exercise, or you do a crap ton of volume, or you put the muscle in, a position it's not used to, what happens is the nerves that innervate or control or signal to the muscles in that area, they get damaged, right? And that's what causes that feeling of soreness, the nerves being damaged. So completely unrelated to muscle growth. And then pain, again, it's a stimulus telling you to stop doing something. Like, I know a lot of people associate suffering and pain with like growth, right? But the adversity or suffering to grow is completely different than pain, right? When it comes to your body, pain it's a real thing, right? It's why, like, if you poked yourself with the knife, it's not going to feel that great because your body wants to protect itself and it wants to prevent it from getting hurt. And lifting is not designed to be hurtful, right? The whole reason we have a gym and we have standardized weights that are in great shapes that are very easy to lift is to help make sure we don't get injured. And the relative probability of getting injured from lifting is already so small. Like, it's so small. Lifting is a safe thing to do if you do things properly. And if you do not do things properly, then that is where the injuries come in and the pain starts to happen, right? But if you're doing things properly and you're training the right way, you really should not be feeling pain, right? Unless something happens and something goes wrong and you do a movement wrong or you do something a little too fast, right? That's where those things happen. But if you are training close to failure, you're doing good, proper technique, you are controlling the weight, not just throwing around weight that you have no business touching, you shouldn't be feeling pain. And if you are, if whenever you bench press you have some shoulder pain, you should look into some other ways to go about fixing that. You could have a stability problem in your shoulder. There could be some weakness of some muscles in your shoulder that need to be strengthened to help with that. Some of your muscles could be too tight, causing that pain, right? And you should avoid loading that movement until you are able to solve the source of the pain, because working out on top of pain is just going to create additive damage, right? And that's what leads to those big injuries that take you out of the gym for the next 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 weeks, 12 weeks. I meant to say 3 months. But potentially a very long time, and that's going to cause you to lose a lot of your gains and a lot of the progress you've been making. So trying to optimize for pain is a pretty unintelligent approach to trying to build muscle. And if your goal, at least speaking purely from a training standpoint, nutrition and recovery plays its role, but strictly speaking in a training context, the way that you would prioritize and optimize for muscle growth would be training close to failure, and training close to failure frequently throughout the week. The first set of any exercise in a given workout is going to have the most stimulus. So if you do a first set 3 times a week, that's going to give you enough stimulus to make progress. But if you do 3 sets 1 time a week, that's going to give you enough stimulus to maintain your muscle. So the best way to go about it would be to just do 1 to 2 sets close to failure or to failure 3 times a week. Use compound movements to hit multiple muscle groups, and just make sure on your sessions each day that you hit all of your major muscle groups, which can be done with like 5 to 7 exercises total, if you program it smartly. And then boom, you now have like one of the most optimal programs for building muscle. And if you want a slightly less optimal, you're still going to get a lot of stimulating reps for growth, because you're still training more frequently and you're not overdoing it with the volume, which would be an upper-lower split. And then when it comes to like ranking, probably push-pull legs would be one of the worst splits, just because it's so hard not to overdo it on the volume. And it's pretty challenging to recover from. But 3 times a week or 4 times a week would be great. You get a lot of time to recover in between each session, so you're going to be coming back ready to go and close to peak, which is what we want, and we're going to be able to move more weight and perform better. And we are not going to be doing so much volume that we are creating a potential scenario where we could stack injuries because we're not getting fully recovered. Anyway, that covers the video. Pain is irrelevant to growth. If you want to grow, you should focus on the actual stimulus for growth, which is mechanical tension, and getting close to failure multiple times a week per muscle group, with recovery time allotted in between those sessions that you have, or the frequency of those sessions. Anyway, if you learned something new, then leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow with a rest day. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.